Hello again. The topic of this video will be in service of negative states, or in service of, well, I wanted to say in service of hate, but it's not just hate. It's all the negative states. I was thinking about how to start the video, but as you know, I never really know how to start. I just couldn't start talking, and as by the end of the video, I kind of have an idea of what to name the video as. But yeah, this video will, I think, is a bit linked to one of the videos I did before, but I think I'm going to go a little bit more in depth because this is really related to my personal journey and who I am in this 3D world game or experiment we are in. For the longest time I can remember, I've been running away from hate, running away from criticism, running away from jealousy, running away from confrontation, running away from the so-called negative, maybe they are not so-called, but they are, okay, I'll get to that later, negative states because and pain, because I didn't want to experience them, because I labeled them as just bad and just like not a good thing, and not I associated them with not feeling good. And even though I've been running away from them, I have been manifesting these states, because we all know that when you run away from something, you continue to manifest it because you're focusing on it. So as I focus on, the more I focus on not being criticized, the more I create situations where I'll be criticized because I'm running away from it. I'm still focusing on it. I'm not focusing on what I want. I'm still focusing on the thing I do not want. Okay, this is just a simplistic explanation. What I want to talk about in this video is it's about being in service to Lilith consciousness, and also being in service to the other side of what we think life is, to the hidden side of what we think life is. As a Lilith in Scorpio woman, as a woman who has Lilith in the sign of Aries in the house of Scorpio, I know about darkness. I am intrigued by it. I am terrified of it, but I can sit in it. I understand it, and I have the capacity to embrace it, and to even incite it. But like most of us, I have been raised in a society and in a world where you're not supposed to be that type of person. You're supposed to be nice to people. You're supposed to be kind. You're supposed to only engender like positive states like joy, happiness, kindness, upliftment, and all those things. And the other states, the opposite states, we've ignored them, or we've kind of like pushed them to the side as if they don't matter. But as I learn about myself more and more, I'm beginning to understand that these states also do matter, especially in manifestation. And this is what I want to talk about in this video. When manifesting, most of the time, all we hear is like, focus on what you want. Focus on what you want. Yeah, and that's the ideal state to be in, to focus on what you want. And be in alignment with what you want. But oftentimes we find ourselves thinking about how we can get the thing that we want to get. And even though that's not the ideal state to be in, because we all know that how really is not our business. It is our business in a sense, because we create these, we conjure up the way we want to receive the thing that we want to receive, because we create thoughts, and those thoughts get linked to other thoughts, and they create these situations which create a frame or a space in which we can receive our manifestation. Um, and so in this sense, what I wanted to say is that most of the time we always taught to think about what we want, and we always taught to think positively about it, like, focus on the positive, focus on the positive. But we forget that the world is not just made up of positive states, or creation, not the world. Creation is not just made up of positive states, because even in the realm of the masculine and the feminine element of creation, while the feminine feels good and is in alignment with her thoughts and her desires, the masculine, which is the polarity of the feminine, is the one that creates contrast, so that the feminine can specify what she really wants. The feminine starts with being, pure positive energy, feeling good, feeling pleasure. But feeling good and feeling pleasure can mean anything. It can be expressed in many, many ways. So the masculine needs to know what exactly you want. What do you want? What do you want? A new car, or you want a nice house? What kind of house do you want? What kind of relationship do you want to be in? And so the masculine provides contrast, so that the feminine can, through experiencing the contrast, the feminine can know that, okay, I do not want this. That means I want this. So as she's experiencing contrast, she is asking more specifically what she wants, or she's getting more in touch with what she wants specifically. She's creating more depth, and more density to what she wants, so that the masculine can finally pour into that desire, the physical 3D form. So polarity is also a very important, polarity and contrast is a very important part of creation. Without polarity, without these negative states of hate, criticism, jealousy, we don't really know exactly, we oftentimes do not know exactly what we want specifically. We might have an idea of what it is that we want, but it is the polarizing states that help us to clearly define that, okay, I've experienced this, I don't want this, I want that. So and this helps us when we are open to experiencing, when we are open to manifesting our desires. It is very helpful to be open to experiencing both of these states, rather than trying to thwart one of the states, which is what I've been doing, running away from the negative states of hate, criticism, and only focusing on like getting praise, and it causes the manifestation to slow down further, and take more time to come, because you've closed the door to all the possibilities that could bring you that manifestation. If, for instance, I say I want a brand new BMW right now, and I say, but I only want it to come to me in the way that is happy, happy and joyful and fulfilling. Yeah, I can say that, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to experience some of contrast while I am going to be experiencing the happiness and the fulfillment. The happiness and the fulfillment that I experience as I am uh, waiting for my BMW is my perception, and the way I label the experiences. The more open I am to experiencing the criticism or the hate or jealousy or whatever, and quickly coming out of that and accepting it as part of creation, and just quickly coming out of it and just continuing to focus on what I want, the quicker it will come. That's a better way of being, a better way of creating, rather than saying, okay, I want it to come to me. I want my BMW to come to me in a happy way, and in a fulfilling way, and in a joyful way. And every time I experience something that is contrasting, like for instance, if while I'm waiting for my BMW, let's say I lose some of my money, and I continue to stay in that state of disappointment and anger, and except rather than just experiencing the anger. Of course, as a human being, you're going to experience the anger, but quickly come out of it, accepting that, okay, this is I'm creating a lot of things right now, and the BMW that I'm creating is part of it, and this is all part of creation. So yes, I'm hurt, I'm angry, but I'm not going to stay here for too long, because I'm going to experience more beautiful things in my life. The whole point is understanding the process of creation, and what is even going to help us be more, well, not help us, make us more godly in creation, is to deliberately inside these negative states. Take control of it. Take control of everything. Don't leave it, not leaving it to chance. Like for instance, like how I'm saying that I want to make 10,000. I want to make 10,000 pounds this month. And I want to make it joyfully and happily and fulfillingly. But me knowing that these negative states are also part of creation, and they will also be part of what I will experience as I'm getting my 10K. Knowing that, I might just say, okay, I know that some of these negative states are going to be part of I'm going to experience some of the negative states. So why don't I just take charge? Why don't I just be a full God, and just take full responsibility for all of it? Why don't I just create these negative states too, in my way to, not in my way, why don't I create these negative states too, as I'm creating the 10K? So what I mean by that is, when I'm creating my 10K, why don't I fully just be in the space of focusing on going all out, no matter what reaction I get, just going all out, being fully expressed, understanding that some people are gonna criticize me, some people are gonna hate me, and some people are gonna love me, and that's all part of creation. Rather than me just going out and being careful, as a coach, specifically, as a coach who is disruptive, understanding that in order for me to get this money, the quickest way for me to get this money is for me to be fully expressed in my way, as I'm getting the 10K. And the more potent my expression, the more quicker I'm going to get it. But the potency will incite hate and criticism, which is also part of the creative process, and it will also incite love, and it could incite obsession and cult-like behavior. But just being open to all of it, Rather than me saying, oh, okay, let me just be careful and just say things in a way that will make people like me. Because if I say that I'm just gonna say things in a way that will just make people like me, then I am reducing the potency. I'm reducing the potency, number one. Number two, I am thwarting these other negative states which are also valuable, valuable in the process of creation. They're also valuable to me, um, because they'll help me specify what I really want. Right now, all I can see is that I want 10K. I might want some other things that are actually much more enjoyable than the 10K, but I can't really tell what exactly those things are because I haven't experienced the contrast to push me to know that, okay, I don't really just want a 10K. Maybe I want more than 10K, or maybe I want it in this way, or, maybe I want to learn other things, but the contrast is what's gonna provide the platform for me to be able to know that. And the contrast is provided in the negative states, in us allowing the negative states to be expressed. And this is part of Lilith consciousness. We have been brainwashed against these negative states for the longest time, and which is a similar journey to Lilith's story of how she wasn't driven away from heaven. She chose to suppress herself. She chose to go under. She chose to be hidden, and go under, because humanity wasn't ready yet. Humanity wasn't ready to really understand the value of negative states in creation. Negative states, including all kinds of perversity, death, destruction, annihilation, pain. Humanity wasn't. We weren't mature enough to be able to handle all that. So she chose to go under, and as she chose to go under, she participated in the grand scheme of things, where creation can be slowed down, which is why we came down to this 3D earth. Because if Lilith consciousness, or Lilith and her and all these negative states of destruction and death, disease, and all those things were allowed to be potently expressed, and humanity was able to include them in our creation, then creation will happen like that. Creation will be fast, because then there's no time. You collapse time quickly because you're open. You're open to experiencing everything. You're open to creating everything. You're no longer judgmental. No longer judgmental, and no longer have labels of this is good and this is bad. All is good. I am a creator being, and I create. And as while I'm creating, I have access to every state. I don't pick and choose. Every state to me is good. Every state to me, I can experience every state because I'm a vessel. And so when I don't judge it, then it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter, because I just know that it just is. And yeah, this is something that happened before Adam and Eve. Because in the Adam and Eve story, we all know that, when they ate from the tree of knowledge, that's when they started being judgmental. That's when they started knowing what shame is, and fear, and labeling, good and evil. So Lilith came before that. And when we when we re-allow, or is it what's the word I'm looking for? Re-accept, reintroduce. When we reintroduce creating with negative, destructive, annihilating, painful, annihilating, deathful forces, then we create at warp speed. And some of us came to this earth this time around to be examples of that, and I know I'm one of those people. I have, because I've been running away from this for the longest time. I don't actually, okay, well, I do know, let me stop lying. I do know how to, I don't know how to start it. I am still a little bit scared of what the reaction would be. I know intellectually that I don't need to be scared, because there's nothing to be scared of. But my human consciousness is, again, it's just my human consciousness coming in with reasons to diminish myself. And I know that as I accept myself, or when I accept myself as a true God who creates with both destructive, negative states and life-giving and positive states, then and only then I can create like that. Right now I'm still in the human consciousness and the victim consciousness of fear and shame, and yeah. So yeah, this is what I want to talk about. I don't know if I've really said everything I need to say, but yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about. How to manifest using negative states. Not just negative, both negative and positive, but we've been using positive states for the longest time, because that's what we are trained to do. That's what we were raised to be nice, to be kind, to make everybody like us. But everybody liking us is not, it's not the fastest way to get what you want. Making people like you, because if everybody likes you, then it means you're not saying anything potent. So I think it's time for us to look at the value of these negative polarities and how they help us clarify what we really want, but also how they help us make creation faster, how they help us create things faster, manifest things faster, how they make us more open to enjoying the game of life, how they help us be unconditional, unconditional in living, and how they help us in expressing unconditional love. That's actually the true meaning of unconditional love. Unconditional love is when we fully accept and fully embrace both negative and positive states of creation in this world. When we have stopped labeling, something, so one thing as good and the other thing as bad. When we accept that everything is needed in the process of creation, that's unconditional love. And yeah, it's time for us to play with these states. It's time for us to play with these states, not just play with them as they come to us, but even inside them, because we actually do. We are unconscious about how we do inside them, because we are unaware of how we create reactions. Most of the time, we don't know what we are doing when people react negatively to us. And we don't know how, what they say, like bad things happen to good people. We don't know how we engender those things, but we are completely responsible and completely in control of how we engender all these things in our lives. It's becoming aware of it. It's becoming present to it. How do I create? How am I creating hate? It's once we become aware of it, now we can control it and we can direct it. If I know, like for instance, now I know that I want to create 10K, and I know that the fastest way for me to get it is to use both hate and love. So I just need to say what I need to say and embrace the hate that's going to come my way. Also embrace the love that's going to come my way, because I understand that both are needed for me to get my manifestation. It's not just going to be one thing. So while I'm saying what I'm saying, I'm inciting hate in people, because the way I talk, I know that the way I talk, sometimes it can be really, really harsh, and it can be sometimes crude. And so yeah, that's gonna trigger people, and just understanding that, not acting surprised when people react harshly towards me. Just being a god, being divine, being divine, and having divine understanding that, hey, it's part of it. It doesn't mean that what they said is diminishing me or it's going to be diminish me. No, it's just a reaction, and I created that reaction. It's taking responsibility too. Yeah, that's what it is. It's taking full responsibility of what you create and what comes back to you, because it's all part of creation. So yeah, I'm not being absent, not being unconscious, not going unconscious again. Like my coach Madeline used to say, don't go unconscious. Yeah. So I know what I have to do. As soon as I get to the awareness of it, my human thoughts, my limited human thoughts coming, like, it's just a habit that I have to overcome, and I will. I'm ready now. I'm mature enough to handle whatever. I'm not gonna die. I'm not a victim. I'm a creator, and creators create, and I'm not fragile. I'm not scared of death. What I'm scared of is, it's not that I'm scared of it, it's just that I don't want it. I don't want to live my life not experiencing what I came here to be and to do. I want what I want, and I want what I want now. So I don't want to have to wait, and get to the end of my life and say, oh my God, why didn't I do it? Regret, yeah. Regret is what I don't want. But, everything else is fair game. So, I don't know if I've said everything. I wanted to call this video In Service of Darkness. In service of negative state. Understanding the value of negative states. And contrast. Understanding the value of negative states and contrast. I think I'll call this video that, so I can come back to it. Yeah, I have really I've missed the value of negative states. I've really misunderstood. Yeah, I've really misunderstood the value of negative states, like hate and criticism. And I've just seen these things as being bad. And because I've been criticized, I've been raised in a home where I was criticized a lot. I experienced it as, I don't know why. I don't know why I experienced it as negative. I think maybe the way it came to me, the way the criticism came to me, I wasn't mature enough then to see it in any other way, because I was just wanting love. I just, was just wanting love, and I experienced them as negative. I didn't see the value. I couldn't see the value of criticism. You know, right now being older, the value of criticism is that it makes me more. It pushes me more towards self-acceptance. It pushes me more towards my individuality. It pushes me more to stand up for myself and back myself. Because whenever someone criticizes you, there's an opportunity for you to choose. Okay, I am. Here's another opportunity for me to stand for what I believe in, stand up for what I believe in, stand up for my experience, stand up for my life, and stand up for my values, and stand up for my experience. And also, when someone criticizes you, it is an opportunity for you to check in with yourself with what am I doing right now? Am I joining them in in um, in in their humanness? Have I let go of my divinity? Am I going to listen to what they are saying and see it as a way to, or use it as an excuse to diminish myself? Or am I going to stand firm and, yeah, again, see myself as divine, and that nothing can diminish me? And criticism really is in service. It really, like any of the other states, the positive, both positive and negative states are all in service of our evolution. Because every one of these states push us to expand. They push us to see another perspective. They push us to see further than what we have been seeing. If I was never criticized, I would never have I would not have the need to stand up for myself. I would never have to never have the need to stand up for what I believe in. I wouldn't build the muscles. Well, now we're talking about physical 3D things, but yeah, I wouldn't have the muscles and the practice to stand up for myself, because every time someone criticizes me, that's an opportunity for me to stand up and say, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you believe, I believe what I believe. And I've experienced what I experienced, and what I experienced is valid. It's an opportunity for me to love myself and value myself. And it's in that way, it's all in service of my expansion. So it's all in love. And this is also all, and seeing negative states in that way is it's divine. Yeah, it's divine. It's seeing the bigger picture of creation. Seeing, yeah, seeing the bigger picture of creation, understanding the the bigger picture of expansion, understanding the big um, understanding the process of creation. Um, and it, yeah, because we are humans, we feel we are going to we're still going to feel, sadness and grief, especially when there's a death, when there's war, annihilation, and all these things. Yeah, we're gonna feel that, because we're human beings. We're meant to feel them, but the because we are also divine creations, we are divine creators, we also have the capacity to see beyond that, see beyond just our grief, and see how these things are in service of the greater expansion of the universe and the greater expansion of us as portals of the universe. So yeah, it's I forgot what I was going to name this video. It's seeing the value. It's really seeing the value of negative states. I don't even like calling them negative states because they are not really negative. They're just states. Because to call them negative is also another way in which we label them as negative, and then we make up in our mind that, oh, okay, they are negative, so therefore I have to respond to it in a negative way. So and I don't want to respond to these things negatively anymore, because I understand now. I understand that I don't have to respond to them negatively. I do not want to become a robot. I still want to feel deep. I feel deeply. But I wanna, and I believe I can feel deeply without feeling negatively about these states. I can still feel deeply, without feeling negative, or at least not staying that long not staying negatively that long in those states. So it's all about seeing and understanding the bigger picture of creation, and understanding the value of these states in creation. Understanding the value of jealousy. What is the value of jealousy? Well, if jealousy is a state of wanting what somebody else has, thinking that what somebody else has, you should have had it, that they don't deserve it, or they shouldn't have it. So what's the value of jealousy? The value of jealousy would be that let me take myself as an example. The value of jealousy for me would be that that person who has the thing that I want has shown me something that I want that maybe I didn't know I wanted. That's number one. What's the other value of jealousy? The other value of jealousy is that, let me see, when someone is jealous, when I feel that somebody is jealous of me, or when I'm creating jealousy, yeah, indirectly I'm actually inspiring them to want. I'm inspiring them to want what I have. What's the other value of jealousy? The other value of jealousy could be that it feels good that I have something that other people don't have. It feels good that I've aspired enough, or I've pushed myself enough, or I've expanded myself enough to have something that other people want that they don't have. Because if everyone had what everyone wants, then where's the competition there? Even though people say, well, competition is not a positive state. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a positive state, but it's a necessary state. It is a necessary state in our expansion. It is a platform from which we can expand from. And as a Lilith in Aries woman, as Lilith in the sign of Aries in the house of Scorpio, I know about competition, being competitive. If we didn't have any competitiveness, then there would be no games. the games that we watch, the Olympic Games, boxing matches, and all these other games that we have, we watch them, and the horse racing that I go to. Somebody has to be first. If there was no competitiveness, then there's no thrill. If everyone's just the same, has the same result, then there's no thrill. If there was no competitiveness, there's no thrill and no desire to achieve anything. Jealousy, yeah. We were talking about jealousy. What's the value of jealousy? The value of jealousy, yeah, again, yeah, it's having something that everyone wants, and you don't have it. So it incites pride, personal pride, and it motivates you to go for things. That doesn't mean that I don't want them to have it. You can have it, but I had it first. Yeah. All these things are just like, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna think a little bit more about this. Maybe even write these down, because right now I'm just talking, off the top of my head. So it's a little bit challenging. But when I write down, I'll have more ideas. What is the value? The value of jealousy. The value of jealousy. Yeah. Apart from it, yeah, these states help us help us with our wants. They help us with our desires. They make us more. They give us more motivation, more drive to succeed, more drive to have. Envy is, I don't really know the difference between envy and jealousy. Jealousy is not wanting someone to have something that you want. Envy is envy not the same thing? Anyway, yeah. What about the value of fear? Fear is such a big thing, because all of these states are engendered because of fear, really. And I think it's more helpful if I say a specific thing, like, let's say, what is the value of hate? What's the value of hate? What would be the value of hate? When someone hates you, that's an opportunity for you to love yourself more. It's an opportunity for you to stand for yourself and love yourself. They hate you, and you don't have to follow them in their hate of you. But that's a choice that you're gonna make in the moment. It's also an opportunity for you to practice loving yourself and standing for your beliefs and for your values a bit more. So it's all in service of your expansion. What's the value of grief? The value of grief. Okay, it's not grief. Grief is the emotional response. It's the value of death. What is the value of, the death, experiencing the death of a loved one? And then grief helps us see face to face, come face to face with the what's the word? With the why do I have these words at the top of my tongue and then I can't? We come face to face with the fragility. That's not really the word I'm looking for, but that's the word I have right now. We come face to face with the fragility and the the shortness. What's the other word for shortness? The other word for the impermanence. It's still not the word impermanence, but yeah. It helps us come face to face with the impermanence of life, and it helps us become present to our creation and to the creative process and to who we are. Because we remember that we are here for just a short while, and then when we see someone die, someone who's close to us, then it helps us remember that it helps us remember that we are here for a short while, and that we one day return. So we better get to doing what we came here to do. I don't really want to say we better get to doing, because if we don't do it, we'll come back again and again and again. But yeah, that's also part of it. It just brings us face to face with the impermanence of life, and it gives us. It's a reminder that we're here for just a short while, and that we might as well enjoy our physical 3D experience while we're here. So yeah, that's the value of it. That's one of the main values of it. So yeah, it's all about seeing the value of these negative states and understanding that they are all in service of our expansion, and all in service of the expansion of the universe. And understanding that the process of creation involves both of them. It needs both of them. We can't have creation with just positive states. There's no such thing as having a fully formed 3D 3D form, 3D creative form, or 3D physical form of creation without both positive and negative states. Even as human beings, we come into this world through birth, which is a painful process. And the things that we want, sometimes we lose touch of how, or we lose track of how the contrast that we are experiencing is part of the journey of getting what we want. And we see these things as separate, that they're just happening, and we forget that they are moving us closer to all of our manifestations, and moving us closer to our God essence. And I, as a Lilith in Scorpio woman, will be from now on, I will be embracing negative states more. I will be inciting them. I will be taking control of them. And I will not be running away from my creations. I will take full responsibility. If I ignore someone and they ignore me back, I engendered that. I created that. And I'm going to acknowledge that. If I say something that causes people to cuss me out, call me a bitch, a cunt, why don't you go back to Africa? I created that. I'm going to take full responsibility of the creation, the entire creation, not just saying, oh my God, why are people responding to me like that? I'm trying to be nice and all that. No, I'm not trying to be nice. I'm trying to be me. My job is not to be nice. My job is to create. And my job is to create through the use of negative states too, not just positive states. I'm a Lilith in Scorpio one. My Lilith sign, my is it the mean Lilith? The first one is Lilith in the sign of Aries, the sign of the ram, in the house of Scorpio. The other, I have two houses. I have two Lilith signs in Scorpio. The other one is in the house of my other sign is in my other Lilith sign is in the sign of Gemini in the house of Scorpio, and then I have my other Lilith sign is in the sign of Taurus in the house of Sagittarius. So all of my Lilith signs are in. They're all in that, well, in kind of shadow signs. You know, the Lilith in Aries is about being competitive, being fearless, being intuitive, being sexual, demonically sexual, being Aries, yeah, it's a sign of being competitive, bloodthirsty, competitive, being sadistic even. In the sign of Scorpio, the sign of death, money, taxes, inheritances, the sign of the occult, the sign of the underground, the sign of what is hidden. And also the other sign, my Lilith sign is in the sign of Gemini in the house of Scorpio. Gemini being the sign of polarity, paradox, two-facedness, versatility and difference and variety, yeah, and the variety, the experiencing the world through varieties of states, and this is what I'm doing right now, which is experiencing creation through negative states, or engendering creation through the elevation, through the elevation of negative states. That's it exactly. Yeah. Let me write that down. Yeah. Engendering creation through the elevation of negative states. And let me write that down. Engendering or causing. Let me not make it two. Causing creation, or just creating through the elevation of negative or shadow states. I don't want to call them negative. I don't know, because I feel like, you know, when we say negative has a negative connotation. Using a word to describe it. Yeah, negative has a bad connotation. It has a less than valuable connotation when you say something is negative. It's not negative as in, I don't mean negative as in like bad, or negative as in evil. I just mean negative as in polarizing to positive. That's why I don't want to call it negative. I just want to call them like maybe, I don't know whether they are shadow states. They're not really shadow states, because if I'm aware of them, then they're not really shadow states. But anyway, we'll get there. That's just semantics right now. Yeah. So yeah, the elevation of negative states. This is my role right now. I'm quite new in it. I don't actually know. I've always had a sense that, not always, as I've grown older, I've had a sense that I am comfortable in the occult. I'm comfortable in shadow work and stuff, but I've never really but I don't really know. Okay, that's not accurate. I'm not sure of how, I'm not sure of how I'll feel, but I guess I'll find out, because I feel like this is my this is one of my purposes, to elevate these negative polarizing states in service of creation, in service of expansion, because we've thwarted them for so long, we've pushed them to the underground so long, we've devalued them for so long. I feel like it's my role to revalue them, elevate them even, and become the evil bitch, the evil the evil maleficent. But I might not be. I might not be. I might be revered for that, because humanity is ready for this now. It's becoming ready. So and even if I become maleficent, then that's how I'm supposed to expand. That's how it's just all in service of my own expansion, but also the expansion of the universe. And somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do this, because it's time for these negative Lilith virtues to be elevated, because they've been hidden they've been suppressed for too long, and Lilith is now expressing herself through me and through many other women that are like me, because it's time for these states to be elevated and to be brought back into the forefront of creation, and to be brought back into the forefront of expansion of the human race, expansion of the universe as a whole. And I am honored to be one of those women who is receiving the inspiration to be in that role, or to play that role, in service of the expansion of the universe. It's almost like that's what I just realized. It's almost like I acted just like Lilith, how Lilith acted, like suppressing herself in service to make sure that humanity has reached a certain level, and then saying that, okay, it's time now to bring myself out. That's almost like that's what I've done with my life. Like, for the first 40 years of my life, I completely suppressed any and everything that is like dark about me, that is like, on the edge, that is misunderstood about me, because I wanted to serve the collective. I wanted to be nice and kind. But now I understand that in order for the collective to expand further, in order for the universe to expand, these dark qualities have to be brought back to the forefront again, so we can create with them, so we can use them with creation, and so we can all expand. So I think that's it. It's gonna be a challenge. I don't want to say it's gonna be a challenge, because it's really not. It's just the way I label it. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting what comes out of it. And I'm a little bit terrified, but I'm also excited to see how I will carry this honorable role with me throughout the next phase of my life. All right, okay, bye-bye everyone. I'll see you again in the next video, which might be today or tomorrow at some point. Bye-bye.